In today's dumbed down, fattened up, drugged, democidal demonocracy of mob rule, it's all about feelings. Fragile, feeble figments of forlorn fantasy. But in the Republic, it used to be about ideas. It was about doing something. Now, it's all about being someone. In the baby-killing, child-raping, pedo states of America, life is only worth what you can sell a fetus, organ, child, or woman for. One's life should matter, and so too, one's work. It should be about what you say, not how you say it. No matter what the thoughtfully censor or silence, the unsayable must be said. Ignore the communist crowd's focus on what was. Instead, look to what can be. If you want to change, start with yourself. Change by leading from the front, where others fear to go. Stop the fraud of feelings and watch out, for your thoughts become words. Your words become actions. Your actions become habits. Your habits become character, and your character becomes your destiny. Real poverty is not bad housing or low wages. Real poverty is never having been loved, protected, nourished, and cherished. Welfare only makes weaklings. Democracy, dependence. Work brings dignity. Republic requires responsibility. Responsibility results in resiliency. Physical poverty is terrible. Spiritual poverty, abominable. Lift weights in the gym, but soar spirits on the farm. True wealth is not money, things, star, cars, and cash. Real riches cannot be bought. Entitlement erodes esteem. When duty is demanded, esteem is earned. The secret is self-sacrifice and selfless service for God via man. Sense of purpose is priceless. Those few, faith fortified, freedom focused, and adversity augmented, who cannot be bought off, frightened off, but only killed off, are the most dangerous persons on the planet. And I hope I am one of those. I'm a retired SOCOM soldier, former DEA special agent, and DIA intelligence collector and analyst, targeted by the deep state, turned whistleblower warrior. Served and sabotaged, rejected and redeemed, failed and forgiven, betrayed and saved, rejecting revenge, humbled and blessed, repurposed in redemption, as chaplain, leader, teacher, and truth teller. Now America's intelligence officer, following God, leading my family, and any that choose to join on our long walk to faith and freedom. Welcome, I'm Jeff Prather, and this is the Prather Point. Welcome everybody. If the format looks a little different, it's because I am on my iPhone, because my laptop will not let me on. Unsure what's going on with that, but looks like I am being censored yet again and shadow banned yet again. We've seen this recently on Meta Facebook, where Meta Facebook takes down our Christ chaplaincy sermons just as they get about to be 500 or 600 folks. Shadow banning is important. So today's show is real important too. Special on DOJ's Obama strike farce. And Russiagate news is not new. OSINT osmosis, CEDING taken terrain, and Obama dangled for Epstein distraction, and Epstein outrage. Johnson vacates Congress early. And a lot of other things. But before I get there, I want to remind you that you can go to jeffreyprather.com and support the show to keep the Prather Point free. You can donate there, or you can go to jeffreyprather.com/shop. Get great things like you can get Prather private label. I'm a coffee snob, and those that Stay Brewed make this especially for me, and it is excellent. You can get it at jeffreyprather.com/shop, or you can go to staybrewed.com and get theirs. You can go to teamamerica.com and get a discounted Team America coffee as well. Go in the shop as well, jeffreyprather.com shop. Get your Faraday bags. You need to bag up, especially if you're Team America, so they're not tracking you all the time. And we're going to go to sat123.com, sat123.com, and you can get an Iridium 9555 at no cost for a 24-month agreement. at sat123.com. The monthly is $95.95, or you can go down to $85.95 a month to get in Marsat. That works fine too, just not quite as well. You can also get in the shop there. You can get Team America mugs, Freedom is Taken mugs, all kinds of good hats, all kinds of cool stuff. And I do have my books in right now. If you want copies of those, help@jeffreyprather.com, or they're in the jeffreyprather.com shop. If you don't want to go on Amazon, you can get those there, and I will autograph them. Great books, both really important books. Initiation, My Journey with Apache Medicine Man, True Story. Boys and Girls Are Born, Men and Women Are Trained, and Chase, Terror on the Border, Fact-Based Fiction by an ex-DEA Special Agent. So just a couple of things that you can get. So my apologies, though, I'm not going to be able to have a conversation with you today because that's how I look at the phone. I didn't set up my other phone there. But let's just jump right into this DOJ Obama strike farce. And of course, this is not a strike force, it's a task force. And I've been on a lot of task forces in my day. I've been on military task forces, intelligence task forces, federal law enforcement task forces. So this is definitely my lane. And so DOJ has launched this new strike force, not task force, to investigate potential next legal steps after the DNI, Director of National Intelligence. And I know that office very well, too. At Bowling Air Force Base, I used to stand outside the DNI's office because I briefed the guy who briefed the guy, briefed the DNI. So Gabbard, who is the current DNI, has released new documents about the 2016 election. The problem with this is, I've said this many times because, again, I have worked as a Department of Justice special agent in the Drug Enforcement Administration for 19 years. And a Defense Intelligence Agency intelligence officer, collector, and analyst as well. And intelligence does not equal evidence. Intelligence is where you want to project analysis of information, but you always want to protect sources and methods. And evidence is fact-based truth admissible in court, where you have to present your sources and methods as chain of custody. So this is doomed from the start. I saw this when I was working the war on drugs, which is one reason why I was recruited into the Defense Intelligence Agency, because I was a Drug Enforcement Administration agent, and DOD and DOJ all want the big money pots to go after the war on drugs back in the day. But I'd see CIA trying to do counter-drug in embassies overseas when I was a snowcap special operator in the DEA snowcap program. And that was always evident there. They did not want to reveal their sources. They didn't want to burn them. And the documents released do little to suggest wrongdoing by the intelligence community in seeking to investigate Russia's efforts to influence the 2016 contest. But it says, DOJ is proud to work with my friend, Director Gabbard. We are grateful for our partnership delivering accountability to the American people, except you're not getting accountability. You're getting another dangle so that we will stop demanding Epstein accountability. But the 11-page memo released Friday, and it was released on a Friday, by the way, so no one would read it, detailed internal discussions showing Russia was unable to affect any vote titles. So that's really crucial. So the formation of the task force comes as Trump has made clear his desire for his administration to investigate Obama. Remember, I talked about the Obama political porn, MAGA masturbation, where they did the AI video of Obama sitting in the Oval Office with Trump, and then FBI agents and Ray Jackets come down, put Obama on his knees in front of Trump and cuff him up. It ain't happening. All you're going to do is get an AI video of that. But Obama's spokesperson said, we don't usually dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. And then, of course, James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence under Obama, said these were patently false and unfounded allegations. Of course, they're totally true. They've been proven for a long time. But he noted the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is another cover-up organization, did an exhaustive examination of the totality of Russian engagement in this country, focusing specifically on the Intelligence Committee assessment that we did and released in January of 17, and they endorsed the findings the tradecraft used to derive those findings and the confidence levels. And so Democrats have blasted Gabbard for releasing information they say does not back their claims. And it doesn't. And it's not meant to. It's meant to take you down a rabbit hole, a cold trail that goes nowhere. Russia interfered with the election. But what's not mentioned is there's no mention of Dominion. There's no mention of CEDING. There's no mention of Koenig, Eugene Liu, much less Michael Michel, nor faked birth certificates, just Russia, which was a false trail from the beginning. So this is just to placate MAGA supporters, say, oh, look, they're doing something. This is hot, just like the AI video. This is going to go nowhere. I'm on record of saying that right now. I assess high probability that I am correct, very high probability in this this area, because I'm very, very familiar. This was my lane for a long time. So again, there could have been plenty to investigate under this, but Dominion, CEDING, Koenig, the CISA, the Cyber Infrastructure Security Agencies, none of that is even brought up at all. And so, you know, I want to ask you all, do you think Joe Public generally knows how that Obama is corrupt? The people I talk to know that intuitively. They don't know details, but they know intuitively that Obama was corrupt. And they also know that the 2020 election was stolen. And of course, you know, all the machines going out in multiple states at the same time connote that the government was clearly in on that. But they're not going to focus on the government. They're not going to focus on the corrupt FBI, the corrupt CIA, the corrupt Congress and Senate. They're going to focus on those rascally Russians. And they're not going to find anything because Russia was always a dangle. It was never important. But my question to you all, and unfortunately I can't really look at your responses, I'll look at your responses later, I guess, is do you think the uncaring, uninformed general public realizes that Obama was in on it? Because I think they do. I think that this is nothing new here at all. That's why I'm saying the Russiagate news is not new. But OSINT, and which is open source intelligence, OSMOSIS, which is the flow through from the fringe freedom press, like me, to the mainstream bought off intelligence community controlled press, which is CNN, Fox, Newsmax, is having to cede this terrain. Actually, they're actually talking about it now because it is so well known because of the freedom press and because of other liberty luminaries like myself. So the OSINT, the open source intelligence osmosis from the fringe of the freedom movement of the truth speakers like me are reaching the mainstream. And so that's good. That's a win. That's a small wins by inches, but they're ceding taken terrain, I think. That's what I'm asking you, because I think we've already seized that human terrain and told them the truth about Obama, the truth about Michael Michel, who was born a female, but then had operations later on, just like the French Prime Minister's so-called wife as well. Why? Because that's part of the modifications, the satanic modifications to take the creator's creation and modify it and mutilate it to get back at the creator. Nefarious is the movie that really talks about that excellently. So anyway, that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just been doing so for too long. But also you'll see I've got my patreon.com up there. And again, I've republished and published some more Epstein documents that you're not going to see anywhere else. The Florida Obama appointed judge denied the DOJ releasing the grand jury. A lot of people were thinking, oh, that's the grand jury ticket. And we'll see where that goes. But that's not happening. But you can get on my patreon.com/Jeffrey Prather, and you can read my articles, documents, Or you can go to jeffreyprather.locals.com. I've also posted some there as well. That's $9 a month, $90 a year. The Patreon starts at $5 a month or $15 a month. The Little Black Book, which has redactions. There's blacked out areas. There's entire pages blacked out, but there's plenty that's not blacked out. That's at the Psy Warrior $15 level. So if you can support the show, I'd appreciate it. I want to get my old podcast, books, DVDs, websites, other freedom tools, jeffreyprather.com. And remember, Team America, join up as well to support Team America. We've fixed the problem there that you can sign up now in your state. Some states are feral, that is, we don't have teams there. Which is why you may not hear back, but I've worked on that. But what we offer there can't be bought. It must be earned. Praying and training together year after year, build circles of timeless trust. To help rescue our republic, team up with Team America at jeffreyprather.com/join-team-America. And if you're abroad, you can go to jeffreyprather.com/join-team.global as well. If you're going to join the chaplaincy, christchaplaincy.com, try my kinetic Christology. It's what Yeshua was doing, I believe. You want to study my videos, jeffreyprather.com shop, my books, amazon.com, Jeffrey Ross Prather, or again, you can get them signed. Train Up in Self-Defense, bujinkanusa.com, BUJINKAN, USA.com. And I teach these classes monthly. So if you're at the $25 Patreon level, then you can train with me live monthly. And then that gives you access to my in-person seminars, which I'm still doing, but just for my private students. You want to do firearms, warriorschool.com / handgun martial arts class, HMAC is still going on. I'm cutting back on my classes, courses, intensives, and seminars, but I still have openings for the committed. The most committed wins. Many come, few stay. Most talk, few do. Perseverance wins over talent. Get your head in the fight. Lean in. Freedom is taken. Take it. Get in the fight. But I want to explain to you the fight today. So Obama has been dangled for a distraction. And I tried to publish this on Patreon. Patreon is censoring this post. Got it up anyway. But a lot of censorship today. They definitely don't want this stuff out. Obama released this rare Russiagate statement after Trump accused him of treason. But this is just a small battle win in a long 4G. 4G is resistance warfare versus 5G warfare. Remember, we had only lost 4G wars up until the 2020 China 5G war that I say we lost. But none of this is new. All of this was already reported by me and other liberty luminaries and free press back in the day. Even the uninformed and uninterested sheeple know that Obama was corrupt, Trump was set up and under O, and therefore O was behind it. So that's my premise. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I've been doing this for so long now, it's obvious to me. But the people I talk to definitely know intuitively something was wrong. They may not know that there was a fake birth certificate. They may not know that Michelle transitioned to Michael. Obama even says in his speech, Michael. There's plenty of dangly videos out there as well. And it's just part of the corruption that goes on. But the deep state, which is the double government, it's the puppet masters running the puppets who pretend to be presiding over this. CIA, Mossad, FBI, Global Cabal, which is the International Association of the Intelligence Agencies, is ceding human terrain, not SEEDIN, ceding human terrain we already own by making a show of investigating what we already have. But having to dangle the first black POTUS as the next shiny object is a small step in the right direction. Like I've said, we've already got this out there. Everybody knows it. It's just that it won't be said on the mainstream media. Tucker even says it now. He says, "Yeah, the government was trying to kill Obama or Trump." It's obvious. So, but But dangling the first black POTUS, President of the United States, as the next shiny object is a small step in the right direction and shows us that we are winning. We are co-opting them, just as the early Christian martyrs co-opted the Roman Empire. We are co-opting the corrupt American pedo empire. Though even left-wing pedowood movie critics are openly decrying the shiny black hero and heroine now requisite in every show, including the new Superman, who is rescued, I understand, by a SBH shiny black hero going by the absurd title of, wait for it, Mr. Terrific. So every time you turn on the TV now, it's a remake with a shiny black female heroine or a shiny black male heroine hero. Better if they're trannies or homosexuals as well. And it looks like that's what's going on with the new Superman. I've never heard of this Mr. Terrific guy. There are some great black films out there, great black actors, as well. Glory, Denzel Washington, amazing stuff. But they're trying to make this political point, and it just is it's as stereotypical as the old stereotypes against blacks in early films or against Indians as well. The new stereotype is they're just super smart, and the latest Ironheart is another example of that, which is another Marvel flop, because the Iron Man thing was clever. He was a defense contractor. He was a genius. He was a flawed man, but an interesting character. Now it's this super genius little black girl, because all black kids are super geniuses, even though if they haven't been aborted and they can't read, but they're super geniuses anyway. So my point here is that they're not really giving up any terrain, any human terrain that they haven't already lost. They're just pretending to do that. So that's what I mean by OSINT, osmosis, is ceding taken terrain, ceding terrain that we already own as well. And Obama being dangled for Epstein distraction. Notice again, there's nothing about the birth certificate. There is nothing about Benghazi. Real areas of inquiry where people could go. There's nothing about the biolabs. It's a dead path that they're going down. Nothing's going to happen at this. And I'm sorry and sad to have to say this and disappoint everybody on this. But again, I'm not putting my faith in fallen human beings who have fallen governments. I'm putting my faith in Yeshua HaMashiach, and I'm continuing to have faith in what happens there with the second coming, and continuing to do my best. So my faith overcomes my fear and my disappointment. But I don't expect these fallen human beings to all of a sudden change. If you do, then you're believing in human secularism. You're not really a Christ follower or a Christian. You're a communist or a socialist, human secularist, something like that. We all know how that works out every time. Just follow the math. 75 million killed in China, communism, 25 to 30 million killed in Soviet Union, communism. But speaking of Russia, all of a sudden the Gateway pundit is now praising Russia. Why? Because Satan is not welcome in Russia anymore. So the vilification of Russia and the demonization of President Vladimir Putin is a full-time job by the Western media, neocons and globalists, which is hilarious because the Gateway pundit, Jim Hoft, Floyd Brown of Western Journal, have been right in there with it all along. But all of a sudden, they're calling it out. This is typical neocon hypocrisy, but this is showing that they are realizing that people have figured this out. They're not buying the rascally Russia, Russia, Russia line anymore. So they're changing their line with it as well. And they're saying, by the way, Moscow has outlawed LGBT propaganda and practice in the country, which I've said a long time ago. I had on a guy who was actually living in Russia for 6 months. Said it was looking great. It's not the Soviet Union anymore, as well as gender reassignment, that is the mutilation of children, But Putin made sure to clarify that homosexual relations between consenting adults are not forbidden, so they're not coming after sodomites and lesbians, which is fine. We hate the sin, but not the sinner. And then, of course, we have the central combat against the forces of darkness. Russia designates the U.S.-based Satanic Temple as an undesirable organization of blasphemous of traditional religion, and has restricted the entity. Whereas, of course, in America, they are celebrating the Satanic Church, and they are celebrating trannies. And I've had plenty of legitimate lesbian and homosexual students, and they are who they are, even though I advise chastity. And the male homosexuals tends towards pedophilia. All you do is look at the Catholic Church, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But the Satanic Church is not welcome in Russia, and so the Gateway Pundit is praising them for that. And they said the Satanic religionist is related to cannibalism, rape, and grave desecration. And to top it all off, after the war started in February 22, Russian Satanists openly backed the Ukrainian army, which is really funny because it was anti-Russia, Russia for a long time. Then they finally started talking about the Azov Nazis as well. And so what are they doing? Again, this is the OSINT osmosis. This is the open source intelligence osmosis from the Freedom Fringe free press, slowly making its way into the mainstream stuff. And then the mainstream declaring it like it's just been discovered when we've been talking about this. And George Webb has been talking about this. Mike Adams has been talking about this. Ann Vandersteel, others for a long time, and they're acting like they just discovered it as well. And now they've got to put the evidence together. When all the evidence is put together, it's just the same thing with the bioweapon, not facts, of the COVID pandemic psyop as well. But the good news is they are pulling out all the stops because they are really trying to get us off of the Epstein outrage demands. And they want us to forget that little girls as young as 8 were raped and tortured and kidnapped and some murdered by Epstein and his powerful oligarchical elite as well. So none of the Russia, the Director of National Intelligence, again, Tulsi Gabbard, last week accused Obama, top officials, committing treasonous conspiracy in the investigation surrounding Russia's 2016 election interference. So that is a dead end. And this is meant to be a dead end. And she's got to know it, that she can't be this stupid. That she doesn't know this. I think she's just following orders, because this is what the Senate Intelligence Committee's report came out with is, Russia tried to influence the election, but they were unsuccessful. But again, not a word about the Eugene Yu Konek trial, Dominion, CIDL, the CISA, Cyber Infrastructure Security corruption. But what this will also do will delegitimize, after this is all this smoke and sound and fury signifying nothing, Shakespeare there, this will also tend to delegitimize Russia's biolab claims out of Ukraine, which is CIA sponsored, where avian vectors and drones were bringing genetic weaponry from the east, from the west to the east, which is why Putin started his special military operation. And so all of that went to the International Criminal Court. Remember that. And since it went to the International Criminal Court, it is sitting there. Now, the United States is a member of that, but when this fake investigation is finished, and it shows that Russia really didn't do anything, this will continue to this will stick and delegitimize Russia's legitimate claims about the biolabs, where they're specifically indicting Biden and Obama. And remember, Obama in 2005 went to Ukraine with Senator Lugar to start the biolabs. So maybe she is that dumb. I mean, these are talking heads. These guys are not geniuses. They're just ambitious. They're certainly not, these are public figures that were attacked, like me, but they don't do the deep dives I do. In fact, I'd argue nobody does as deep dives as I do. You can tell me if I'm wrong about that too, as well. But with the Epstein fire still flaring, the Johnson, House Speaker Mike Johnson, the neocon rhino, just vacated the House, 5 weeks vacation early to begin early. So this is a good thing too, because this shows the pressure is really on them. So they're going on vacation early because they work so hard up there, and they won't be back till September. And by September, they're hoping that we will forget all about Epstein there. So the deep state neocons, the controlled puppets in Congress, are in retreat, and they are in panic. And the best they can do is just get out early. And so that's a good thing. The pressure is working. But these are very small victories, but that's how wars are won, with a whole bunch of little victories. All you got to do is start looking at the Revolutionary War and how Washington was losing most of the time. Or all you got to do is look at the beginning of the war with Germany in World War II, or look at the Pacific War against the Japanese and how we were losing, and then how the victories were so slow in coming, and fighting for literal inches or feet on islands against the Japanese. So this is the way war is. But this is a 4G resistance war by the American people against their own government in their own country, who is waging a 5G, doesn't even look like war, war against us, of democide. Democide means when you are killing your own people. So that's what this means. So, and why are they doing this? Well, they are doing this because their real masters, their real lords, are not the Lord Yeshua or the Lord God, but they're banking lords. So remember, when did the Pharisees, Sanhedrin, and Romans finally decide that they had enough of Yeshua? That's when he overturned the moneylender's table. He literally upset the money cart. And when you do that, they will accuse, today they would call that economic terrorism. That's what Yeshua would be accused of today, economic terrorism. When you start coming after the money, that's when they get real serious. So remember, back in 2023, JP Morgan settled the Jeffrey Epstein lawsuits with the U.S. Virgin Islands for $75 million, which was getting off easy. They agreed to pay $290 million to resolve claims by dozens of Epstein's accusers. And the U.S. Virgin Islands, who were the plaintiffs, included $30 million to support charitable organizations, $25 million to strengthen law enforcement, who was in on it to combat human trafficking, and $20 million for attorney's fee. And because Epstein had been a JP Morgan client from 1998 until 2013, when the bank terminated the relationship, and a trial had been scheduled for the 23rd of October. So, right before, this is typical of what they do, is, they hold their breath, and then right before the trial, they will settle. Why? Because they don't want this going back on the bank. They don't want this going back on the CIA, on Mossad. Those are their sacred cows. It's okay to rape, torture, murder, and kidnap little girls, but you do not screw with the bankers, the bank money, the CIA, Mossad. That's the message here. That's how bad we have become as a country. And so I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, and I'm trying to hammer this in so that, because I can see people are here and having a lot of trouble listening to me. They hear me, but they don't listen. And that's part of is everybody who got COVID, and certainly everybody who got the bioweapon mass vax, is that they have memory loss quite a bit. Now, the original article said that the J.P. Morse had agreed to adopt stronger policies to tackle human trafficking, but then they said, nope, we didn't do that. As part of the settlement, they said we would remain committed to previous and ongoing efforts to fight human trafficking through its anti-money laundering program. There are no new commitments. Our controls, compliance, risk, and other functions remain in place, said Patricia Wexler. Is that, gosh, that sounds like Lex Wessner of Victoria's Secrets. I wonder if it's the same name there, related. Wouldn't be surprised at all. And even the JP Morgan CEO, chief executive, made a rare public appearance and said that he had barely heard of Epstein. So this guy was putting billions of dollars through their banks, owned a couple islands, but he had never heard of him, which is an outright lie, of course, but he's a banker. And so they follow the golden rule is who's got the gold makes the rules. So on whole, this is going nowhere. And remember I said that. I've been right about a lot of things, wrong about very little. But the fact that they are having to throw out all of this stuff and dangle even shiny black first shiny black POTUS, President of the United States, shows that they are desperate. And then the closure of Congress early shows that they are desperate to go on vacation 5 weeks early. And maybe they'll do less damage while they're on vacation. So I don't think that's a bad thing either. So tactically, the wins mean very little. Strategically, we are slowly winning. And so, right now I'm reading a book on the Colosseum and how it was the book that based Gladiator. If you don't know, Gladiator is based off the word gladius. Gladius is the Roman sword of how they won. You see all these terrible movies where they're swinging the sword. That's not how they used it. They put their Roman shields up. They put their gladius like this. It was a wide sword like the Prather war buoy. They did their turtle formations, tutolo, and then they would slam, the barbarians would slam against them. And then on a whistle count, they'd move their shields a little bit and slide that gladius right into the jugular notch, severing the spinal cord and drop the first line of barbarians. And then they'd close back up. And then again, from the whistle from the centurion, they do it again, drop the next line of barbarians while the barbarians are just shoving themselves, crushing up against the Romans. Third whistle, do it again, kill that group. And then two whistles, and the troop that had just been stabbing three guys would turn to his right, and then right behind him, a fresh Roman troop came up, and they started it again. And killing was a business, and they were really good at it, real professional at it. And so they loved violence. And later on, the gladiator term comes from the sword gladius, where originally there were games, kind of like Greek, games, Olympic games, but eventually the Roman mob, which is what it was really about. You can watch Gladiator and say Rome is the mob. Again, it's not Christian yet. And so they do all kinds of perversions. They train animals, all kinds of animals, to rape virgins. And they'd rape them 10, 20 at a time in the Colosseum. And they'd burn Christians alive. And so that was their football. So are we more civilized today? Yeah, we are. Are they still raping virgins? Yeah, Epstein is, but it's done off on an island. It's more secret. So human nature has not changed at all, but because of Yeshua, because of Torah, Mosaic law, and because of Christic law and Yeshua coming, civilization has advanced, and Satan is out of style. It's always there, but it is out of style. So in the long run, in God's view, are we winning? Is the last first? Yes, yes, it is. So, but you got to have a long time view of this, because the short-term view, looks pretty depressing. But I hope I'm explaining to you clearly, why I am hopeful and why I still say we are winning, even though a lot of this is just smoke and mirrors and BS as well. So, and I don't think I can get on my other, I don't think I'm prepped to get on my other phone for Rumble comments here, but I'll see if I do have that turned on. I was struggling with this phone before, and had to shift to the phone. So, I'm not really up on that at this time. Let's see here. If I can find me. Yeah, I see me live, but I don't see any comments. So, anyway, to go on, switching subjects now to the U.S. Army's pathetic breakthrough. Of course, I'm a retired soldier, really proud to be part of the Army that was fighting for a country that did not yet exist, the Continental Army. Served in Special Operations Command and Psychological Operations and Special Forces. Real proud of that. Was kind of disappointed with the parade. I'm glad the soldiers got recognized. All my stuff was classified, so we never got parades. But I would have liked to have seen the guys been in step. If you see the old film of the 82nd Airborne coming back from World War II, you couldn't be any more combat hardened than the 82nd Airborne in World War II. They're all in step and looking sharp. So this just shows the degradation of the American Empire. And again, just like with the Roman Empire, the Roman soldiers starting to fall apart. Hire mercenaries, lacking discipline. But this is another really pathetic story that the U.S. Army's pathetic breakthrough shows how much work still needs to be done to restore military strength. And again, this is on my Patreon and locals as well. So the U.S. Army's recent display of a grenade-dropping drone highlights its staggering lag in drone warfare technology. Ukraine and non-state groups like ISIS have developed similar or superior capabilities, with Ukraine leading global advancements. Remember that, Ukraine leading global advancements. Failed U.S. military tests in Alaska reveal systemic shortcomings in autonomous drone development and countermeasures. And, they've got so many. When I was still in the G, and I was in the bike shop at Raytheon, which is like the Q shop at DIA, which is like or Toys R Us, Q shop, I forget which agency that is. It's the cool stuff like in the Bond movies. Those places do exist. They are cool. They were cool when I had a blue badge to get into them. But anyway, U.S. Army's recent announcement showcasing its first live grenade drop from an unmanned aircraft system was swiftly mocked by a self-congratulatory tone. What rock have you been hiding under for the last 3 years? Demanded one critic, referencing Ukraine's battlefield dominance in drone warfare, ISIS's 2016 precedent, and Mexico's cartel innovations. Mexican cartels are using drones, dropping drugs across the border. The Army's demo in Germany routed out grenades via quadcopter drones, emulated tactics perfected by ISIS militants during the Battle of Mosul. By 2017, jihadists were deploying do-it-yourself drones to lob grenades and explosives. So it's almost a decade behind. Ukraine's homemade Vampire and Zubra drones now strike up to 800 miles into Russian territory, whereas the Pentagon's Aero-Veronet's prototype crashed into the hill, and Dragoon's Sender drone overshot its target, erupting in flames. And they're saying, so This is because of bureaucratic inertia. Despite General Richard Clark's 2022 warnings about quadcopter threats, institutional resistance, delayed drone integration. That's the old timers. This is like General Blackjack Pursing not wanting to listen to Billy, the court martial of Billy Mills, I guess. I got that right. Where he was predicting the Japanese attack on World War II. Strategic obtuseness. Always, the Army's latest tank manual mocks Ukraine's lessons by advising troops to spot drones via open hatches and shotgun shells. We've seen what happens with that. And so they're way behind Ukraine. Operation Spiderweb, 117 Ukraine drones crippled 4 Russian airfields, a feat unmatched by U.S. systems. So amid all those failures, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and usually I think he's doing a pretty good job, but certainly not here, unveiled reforms to cut drone procurement red tape. And currently, Trump's team is negotiating a $2.1 billion deal with Ukraine. Again, $2.1 more billion deal with Ukraine to, listen to this, wait for it, license its drone tech to Washington in exchange for, wait for it, more weaponry. More weaponry. Like we've lost our air dominance, which they have because they're building F-35s that don't work, to work 50% of the time. And they're not focused on inexpensive drones. All their drones are expensive because the military-industrial complex. But they're saying with urgent modernization, the United States risks of ceding the battlefield supremacy to adversaries. So the battlefield's already been ceded. The Houthis' asymmetric drone campaigns, Ukraine's mastery of battlefield surveillance drones starkly illustrate this truth. Warfare has evolved, but America's military playbook remains frozen in the 21st century rearview mirror. That's all true, and that's pretty much standard. But here's the big thing. There's nothing new about big army bureaucracy. The real outrage here is Trump's $2.1 billion deal to license Ukraine drone tech in exchange for more U.S. weaponry, which is going to do what? It's going to do nothing except kill more people, spend more money. Why? So the military-industrial war pigs and the CIA can continue to have and the global cabal can have their digital state out of Ukraine. But here's the real question, and it never comes up in the article. How do you think Ukraine suddenly became the high-tech drone war experts? DARPA and CIA. Now we're buying back what we gave them for even more tax dollars. DARPA, the Pentagon's high-tech office, Defense Advanced Research Program Agency, is working with the government of Ukraine to develop capabilities to help Kyiv in its hybrid warfare. The old DARPA director, Stephen Walker, took a job and was working with the Ukrainian military, intel, and industry leaders, and said, we did have a good visit over there. And this is a couple of years back, 2023. Worked with U.S. European Command and says, yeah, Ukraine has become a testing ground for hybrid warfare techniques from Russia and Russia-backed militant groups and has allowed Moscow to test out new capabilities. So have we. This is not the first tie between DARPA and Kyiv. The Ukrainian government has hired Tony Tether, who led DARPA for the entirety of the George W. Bush administration to help lead a reorganization of their science. This is a couple of years back, of course, Bush, but they hired the ex-DARPA guys. So where do you think the drone technology came from? It came from DARPA and the intelligence community and CIA. And how did that come from? From our tax dollars going into black projects. So the former DARPA head has also consulted for the Ukroboronprom Group, Ukraine's largest defense contractor, and just a few weeks ago was added to the group's supervisory board in a move that Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko called a symbol of effective cooperation. Of course, this is an old article. What I'm doing is showing you here how CIA and DARPA funded the Ukraine drone development. And now we're going to actually buy back from them. So the deep state CIA intelligence community gets even more of our money. And this is just really, really sad. And it's like, yeah, we want to develop DARPA to develop their increasing counterinsurgency capabilities. Counterinsurgency capabilities. What's that got to do with Russia? Nothing. What's that got? Who's that against? Us. Counterinsurgency capabilities against us. So, and if that isn't enough, looks like we've transferred U.S. nuclear weapons to the United Kingdom. So an American C-17, which is a huge transport plane, which I've ridden. It's like you can play football in there. You can play a football game in there. Visited RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk last Thursday, making a transatlantic journey from Kirtland. The U.S. Air Force stores nuclear bombs. Analysts said it was likely the fight contained nuclear bombs, which were last stationed in the UK in 2008. And again, this is in mine lane. I did my paper on the START treaties. Talked about mutually assured destruction way back in the 80s when I was getting my master's degree in international relations and getting my commission as an Army military intelligence branch officer. And so we have been de-escalating the chance of nuclear war. And now, of course, we are escalating the chance of nuclear war. And this is likely a move to put pressure on Putin via Trump to end the Russia-Ukraine war. But who keeps the Russia-Ukraine war going, really? It's Ukraine, it's Zelensky, because when it's done, Zelensky knows his time is up. It's just like with Israel and Gaza, and Israel in Iran. Who keeps attacking Israel? Trump seems to be all in on that. I'll see if I can look at these comments here, because I see a bunch. So I'll see if I can carefully do this without well, I see Metabiota. I should have on Jack Moxie. Yeah, if you want to have somebody on, then send me the point of contact. Email me at jp.jeffreyprather.com. They pulled the M18 from service. It evidently likes to fire itself sometimes. I'm not even sure what that is there. But anyway, at least I saw those. I'm sorry I can't see the Rumble comments today, because I really wanted to get your input and see what you guys had to say about all this stuff. And if I'm off track on that as well. But that's what I really wanted to cover today. The special DOJ's Obama strike farce, Russiagate news not new, OSINT OSMOSIS, CEDING taken terrain, Obama dangled for Epstein distraction, and Epstein outrage, Johnson vacates Congress early. So again, in summation, although most of this stuff is fake, we are winning. They are on the defensive. They are retreating. The puppet masters are running out of puppets. And that is good news. So if you look back to, the JFK assassination when that was happening, we're much more informed as a public now. Just like I was making the comparison between the Roman Empire and the American Empire, and the Roman Empire, going to the Colosseum and watching animals rape virgins, whereas there's real outrage among the people about the Epstein child and probably virgin rapes as well. So we are much more of a virtuous public, which we require virtuous populace to have a republic, and that's because of Mosaic law, 10 commandments, and Christic law, 2 Christic commandments and 2 autochthonous commandments as well. So that in the long run, we are winning here, even though it doesn't always look like it's safe. So take heart, stay hopeful and faithful. And remember that in Deep State USA, the FBI doesn't solve crime, it manages crime. And CIA doesn't collect intelligence, it collects people. The courts don't meet justice, they deny it. The news doesn't report news, they contort it. The deep state doesn't serve, it enslaves. But slavery is a choice. A slave submits, the cage is safe, chains certain. Freedom is dangerous. The opposite of slavery is freedom. The opposite of a slave is a warrior. The enslaver demands submission. Say as you are told, do as you are told, or else. The slave submits. A warrior refuses to submit. A warrior is dangerous, free, uncontrollable, unstoppable, relentless. I will never be a slave. I am a warrior. What are you?